Hello and welcome to part 2 of the card reveals for Wonderland Dreams Shadowverse expansion. So, I'd just like to make a quick amendment to last video because I wasn't sure about the Council of Card Knights card. Basically, each one is a 1/3 follower that just has a different effect. So you've got Storm, Bane, Ward, those three. So that just makes the quick amendment to that one card, and then we'll go right into these new cards. Alright. So, the first card we've got here is for Blood, and we have a Big Knuckle Bodyguard. So it's a 4-cost 3/4 bronze card. Cheap. I like cheap cards, especially when they're in the 4-drop range. Fanfare, destroy an enemy follower with 3 defense or less and deal 2 damage to your leader if vengeance is not active. So, the difficult spot for this card is that it's in a spot in Blood where there are lots of good 4-drops. And unfortunately, you're probably going to run those other 4-drops over this card. Otherwise, this card is on par with Dragon Warrior and Priest of the Cudgel, except Priest is a little better because it's a banish. It always will be. But it serves the same sort of purpose. Remove a card from the board, up to 3 defense, and play a follower that can go up to a 3/4 or a 5/6 in stats kind of range, which is good. So that's not a bad card. I don't mind it. I think it will work in certain decks. I don't see it working so much in Vengeance. I just see it as being a good card, but not overpowered. I think it's quite balanced and quite good. Alright, on to the next card. We have A Boy Who Cried Wolf. Not a bad art style. I really enjoy the wolf's cloak. It's quite a nice looking style. Anyway, it's a 2-drop 3/1 silver. Can't be damaged. Sorry, can't be attacked by followers with 1 attack. So, good against forest with fairies and stuff. You're not going to have to worry about that. Other than that, most other things will kill it pretty easy. The only problem is actually forest will probably just use May to get rid of this, unfortunately. With the evolve, it might be alright. I don't know how I feel about this card. It is in that 2-drop range, which is another spot in Blood that's really packed with good followers. So unless we lose something, I think this card's going to be really not that great. So we also have Lethal Blade. Choose an enemy follower. Whenever the follower attacks, it will deal 3 damage to itself. If vengeance is active for you, give this effect to all enemy followers. So this is the sort of card that I just don't know how to feel about. It's a 3-drop spell. It's a gold. So I don't know if it warrants being a gold. I would have maybe made this a silver instead. I just don't feel like its effect is gold worthy necessarily. It's good, but the Vengeance thing kind of kills it. If you're running a Vengeance deck, you don't really want to be running Lethal Blade like this. And the 3 damage to 1 kind of thing, not that great. Maybe if we see a really strong control meta, you could put this deck in. It could hit everything maybe, and then everything could nearly kill itself. I don't know. I just think there's better options, you know. Even for Vengeance, you know, you've got Revelation, which is like, what, 4-cost when it's cut? I don't know. I just don't feel this card being that great, unfortunately. Onto the legendary, we have Karabos, I don't know, Wicked Fairy, 6-drop 6/6, similar to like Catacomb design, I think, in the artwork, which I don't mind too much, with the whole throne with skulls and stuff on it. Anyway, it's a fanfare. For the remainder of this match, you will not gain a play point at the start of your turn. For the remainder of this match, draw a card and deal 1 damage to the enemy leader at the end of your turn. These effects will continue even if this follower leaves the area. So this is something that will really favour something like Control Blood, where you're playing this turn 10 where you don't need play points anymore and you're only looking at dealing damage and drawing. So not bad. Definitely interesting. I wouldn't mind trying to build some form of deck around it. I don't know whether it will end up being competitively viable. It just depends on the meta state. But I think it's definitely an interesting card and worth having a look at. Onto the next card we have here. We'll make it a little bigger for you guys. We have Trove. It's a Bloodcraft little card. He's a little bit of a adorable anteater sort of thing. He's a 2-drop 3/3. Stat line's quite nice. Can't attack. When an allied neutral follower comes into play, this follower gains rush and can attack. So fits kind of a neutral Bloodcraft theme. I don't know whether we'll really see it much. Unless we see more support for neutral Blood. I don't think Blood's going to change into the neutral craft class, not like the others have got so far. But it'll be interesting to see. Alrighty, so we'll go into... I hate the zoom thingy sometimes. There we go. On to the next one's Dragon. We have a few Dragon cards here, so it'll take a little bit to get through, but hopefully you can bear with me while we get through all the Dragon stuff. So we've got a 4-drop Elder Tortoise, bronze, 2/4 stats, not too bad for your average 4-drop. Fanfare, recover 1 evolution point if Overflow is active. So it's another evolution gain, similar to Blood's Vengeance gain, but maybe a little bit better because of the whole Overflow being able to be active earlier. Definitely be interesting to see if we can build an Ocean Dragon, especially since this is Elder Tortoise. I really want to see Ocean Dragon become a thing. I think I'm going to push for that so hard as soon as I can. Like, I tested them in the past and never had any success with Ocean Dragon, but I think if we get more water-based cards like Elder Tortoise, it could be really interesting. Alrighty, so the next card is Draconic Lance, a 6-drop spell, silver. Destroy an enemy follower. If you play a follower that originally cost at least 5 play points, change the cost of this card to 4. Now, this card I have a very, very, not strong opinion, but very awkward opinion, I would say. It's a 6-drop silver card. Lightning Blast is a 6-drop silver card. Lightning Blast banishes, this card destroys. This card, only advantage is that you can drop it to 4 pretty easily in Dragon. And I don't know if a 4-cost destroy an enemy is worth it. I just don't. I have trouble seeing it as worth playing. And if you're playing it as 6, you may as well just be playing Lightning Blast at this point. So I just don't see this card being any good, honestly. Tilting at Windmills, a 7-drop amulet. This is actually one that I'm quite interested in for Dragon. Whenever you play a neutral follower, give it Storm and destroy it at the end of turn. So a lot of people have been talking about this card, I guess, that I've seen, and there's some really cool combos that you could probably come up with, like playing Tilting at Windmills and then playing Israfil, playing Tilting at Windmills, playing Lucifer, going for the Evolve, and then seeing which order they kind of trigger based on positioning on board, all those sort of things. Very interesting card. I can't wait to see what Dragon can do with it. Obviously, I don't really want to see it go haywire again and be Dragon meta everywhere, but this isn't that bad, and I just feel like it's okay. I feel like this card might be overpowered, and if it is, I hope something will be done about it. If not, I think just seeing it as a neutral follow card might be interesting. Next, we have the legendary that's been announced, the Worm God of the Skies. So it's a 9-drop 5/6 with obviously a 7-8 evolve. Nearly everything is a 2+ evolve in this expansion. I don't know if there's much that's really different. But we've got last word, during your next turn, double the attack and defense of each allied Dragoncraft follower that comes into play. People have said this will be really crazy with things like Yerd and Dragoon, those sort of cards. Anything that's already got Storm will be amazing. Anything that can be comboed off will be awesome. I feel like this card is good. Being a 9-drop, a last word, a single kind of activation effect. It's probably going to be killed off, pretty much guaranteed. I doubt people are going to banish it. We haven't seen any more banishments, which is really annoying me. I think Haven needs to get more banishments in its deck and become basically just the main banish class. I don't know. This is really becoming difficult. Dragon's getting so many things that have high stats and that are hard to banish. Haven is your primary banish class. Rune has a little bit, and what else? Rune, Haven, and Dragon itself has some banish. And I just feel like Dragon vs Dragon, you're not going to want banish like that. And Rune has some alright techs for banishing stuff like this. Probably a little bit better than Haven for removing the big threats. But I don't know. It's just, this is going to be an awkward card to play around. If you see this drop 9, you can pretty much guarantee they have combo for 10. So if you're not winning, you're pretty much screwed. The next card is Dragon Summoner, 2-drop 2/1 bronze. Fanfare, put a random Dragoncraft follower from your deck into your hand. So it's just a cycle card. You're literally just playing it to pull a Dragoncraft follower. You could probably arrange this in a neutral deck so you can pull certain Dragon followers, so that would be really interesting. Master of Draconic Arts, a 3-drop 1/4 silver card. Ward, Clash, gain +4/+0 until the end of turn if Overflow is active for you. So, I don't mind the Clash. It's another one of those, activates before battle, so that means it's going to have 4 pretty much every time sort of effects. So you pretty much guarantee this is a 5 attack when it's in Overflow. And even when not in Overflow, it's another Ward. It actually may possibly, I'm not saying it will at all, because obviously Grimnir is OP as fuck, but it adds another kind of contesting card to Grimnir's 3-drop range for Dragon. I doubt we'll see it replace Grimnir. Grimnir is just too strong. The damage Grimnir gives to face is just too good, so I don't see it replacing that. But it is an alternative. It's a cheaper card, being a silver, so maybe for budget construction, things like that. Next we have Raider Rage Worm. So this card is very, very interesting. It's a 3-drop 0/5 Dragoncraft card. So it's evolve. It can't attack, so it has no attack. Evolved, it can attack, and it says destroy this follower at the end of turn, and it's one of the highest gaining of stats we've ever had. It gains +5/+5. No, sorry, +10/+5, because it becomes a 10/10. It's a guaranteed clear on almost any follower in the game at this stage, other than maybe Bahamut. That's basically it when it comes to stat lines. Servant of Darkness too, I guess. Everything else you could pretty much guarantee a clear on. There's not much they're going to be able to do. You can play it for turn 4, clear anything. Unless you can somehow give it Storm. I don't see it working well. I suppose... No, Zeal won't work because this thing needs to be evolved, so you'd need some wonky combo to use Zeal, so that won't work. It's not a neutral, so it's not going to gain benefit from that new amulet. And other than that, I don't know how we could use this card in a really crazy combo way. I'm sure people have them, I just myself cannot think of anything. But I can see this card being very, very interesting to play. So we should be onto Haven. So we have White Tiger, a 3-drop 3/2. It's another ward. I don't like the 3 stat bloody... I don't like the 3 cost 3/2 wards. I hate them. The only one I like is Blood because of its ability to summon bats. I think that balances it out. This thing, on the other hand, can't be targeted by enemy spells. You don't really care. It's a white... It's a 3/2. It's cleared by nearly all 2-drops, making it really bad for trading. So I just don't see it being that good. Now, we're on to White Swans. This is the one that goes with Black Swan in the previous one. So, yeah, this stat line is 5/6. And Black Swan is a... I think it's the same. I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure it's the same. Just... I'm just going to take a quick double check on the Black Swan for a sec. Here. Alrighty. Yeah, so, okay. So, Black Swan's stat line is a 5/4. And White Swan is a 4/5. So, yeah. Black Swan trades really well into it. And White Swan... Yeah, so they trade into each other. I don't know whether the stats have changed since last time I looked or whether I just didn't notice that. So they actually trade into each other perfectly, leaving each one with a stat line of either a 6/1 or a 5/1 with different abilities. The difference is White Swan will be a 5/3 due to its end of turn restore 2 defense, whereas Black Swan is a 6/1 destroy basically the enemy's board. That's how I kind of look at it. So, not a bad little card. I'm definitely going to try both of these, I think, for both classes. They are interesting cards, and I want to give them a go. So, next we have Alice's Adventure, a 2-drop amulet, which always keeps my interest. I don't mind 2-drop amulets. So, we get, whenever an allied neutral follower comes into play, subtract 1... Not neutral, Haven aim. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Okay, let's start from scratch on this one. Okay, so 2-drop Alice Adventure Amulet, Havencraft, Gold. Okay. Whenever an allied neutral follower comes into play, subtract 1 from the countdown of all allied amulets. So this is okay. Maybe Seraph deck could work this card in. Play this, play Seraph, play neutral cards turn 9. I don't know. I feel like because of the board being flooded, at most, if you played this, set it up turn 8, along with maybe something else, lost your stuff on turn 8, play Seraph turn 9, lost your stuff on turn 9, play Seraph, has empty board with only these 2 amulets, and plays 3 neutrals to pop Seraph. That's a possibility. I just don't know how I feel about this card. Otherwise, you could work it in with other cards. I suppose wards would work quite well. Whatever else to kind of just neutral it out. It'll be interesting. I'd definitely try and build something around this, but I just don't know how it'll go. Alrighty, so we have Lion of the Golden City, Havencraft's legendary. We actually have both legendaries revealed for Haven, so that's pretty okay, I guess. So the first one here, I think, is 7-drop 5/5, Lion of the Golden City. Fanfare. Put an amulet that costs 5 play points or less from your hand into play, then destroy that amulet. Whenever an allied neutral follower comes into play, subtract 1 from this card's cost. So you can make this card cost 0. It's literally basically like Spell Boost, which is awesome. I really enjoy that. I'm glad to see Haven is getting something else to compete with other classes. It sucks that Rune is, not going to be the only spell boosting class now, basically. Except this is kind of a neutral follower boosting, I guess, but a similar premise. But you could play this in a neutral Haven deck with a few Haven... you can run Haven amulets, run neutral followers, and then run this. And that could work out quite well, especially with decent amulets. Even on its own, to put a 5-drop amulet and then destroy it, you can guarantee playing this, killing something off with Tribunal. You can guarantee playing this, I don't know, Beast Call and having a couple of followers pop out. There's a few different combinations that could work quite nice for this card, and I can't wait to see what else comes out with it. Now the second legendary is Princess Snow White. It's one of the lowest cost legendaries I've seen in this game so far. It's a 2-drop 1/2. Last word, summon a Princess Snow White and evolve it, then remove all effects on this follower. So basically it summons itself like Mordecai, like Dark Alice, but then it removes its own effect so it can only do it once. So probably closer to Rune's Magic Illusionist that it requires Earthright to activate. In that kind of way, you're basically going to only get at least the one chance to use this. Being a 2/1 stat line is okay, especially with the resummon. I don't mind this card. I think maybe we could see this work in maybe a Storm variant, maybe something like that. I just don't know where I'd put this card yet. So we've got Emphira, Angelic Slacker, a neutral. We're onto our neutral cards now. So we've got a 4-cost 1/3, terrible stat line for my personal opinion, but it does have Ambush, which makes it a lot better. Whenever another allied follower attacks, give that follower +1 until the end of turn. So you put this in a frog deck, you put this in whatever kind of deck like that, and basically you get a free damager. Not bad. So Into the Looking Glass, it's probably one of the most interesting cards in the entire game right now, I think. So we've got a 2-drop spell. It's draw a card, so draw a card's already good for 2 cost. It's always good. Change all cards in your hand and in play that cost 7 points or more. 7 points or less into a neutral card. So all your blood card could become neutral, or your shadow, or your sword. Anything can become neutral. This will work especially well if you're playing multiple Dark Alice and you manage to draw them, and you've got this, or you've got other cards like that. That's just crazy. I think this is going to make some insane decks and insane plays. Actually, this is the card that could work with that dragon card from earlier that doesn't gain Storm. So you play Into the Looking Glass sometime in the early game, you keep that 3-drop, you play the 7-drop amulet, and then you later on play the 3-drop. That will allow you... It is a 3-card combo for like 10 damage, but it's definitely interesting. That would be a sort of option for a dragon deck. You could also use this with Sacrifill, I don't know, Saha, I don't know, whatever it is, that card that summons out neutrals, so you can convert 7-cost, class legendaries, and then use that to pull them out. Very interesting. We've got Angelic Night. It's a 3-cost 2/2 ward. Fanfare, give +1 to allied follower. Just a basic ward boosting card. Not too bad. We've got the main card from the entire set. So we have Alice, Wonderland Explorer. 4-cost 3/4. I like the stat line personally. I'm quite a good fan of 3/4 stat lines. Fanfare, give +1/+1 to all other allied neutral followers in your hand and in play. So this will run in pretty much any neutral deck. There's no reason that you couldn't run it in any neutral deck. Maybe if your neutral deck was heavier on spells and amulets, maybe you wouldn't run this. But I get a feeling like sword, like a neutral control sword, a neutral dragon, or a neutral shadow, or neutral rune. Those kind of 4 decks, I think, are the 4 that could run this card effectively. Probably Rune would be really effective with Alice, Wonderland Explorer. Definitely interesting. And that wraps up this video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll be covering all the cards kind of as they come out, so we'll probably do them in lots of 5 from now on, obviously, if I'm available to do them. So hopefully you guys enjoy these videos. Make sure to smack that like button and subscribe if you want to see more. Keep an eye on the channel with the expansion coming up. We're bound to have plenty of new content and new stuff coming in. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.